Today, I wanted to talk about what it actually feels like to play games on a low-end PC, because as you've seen in my videos on the channel, my PC is definitely on the lower end of the spectrum. My first ever PC dates back to around 2013. It had just 2 GB of RAM and a Core 2 Duo processor. Obviously, it didn't run games very well, but I didn't really care back then. I was only 11 years old and super excited to have my own computer. Before that, I would play games on my friend's computer, so getting my own was a dream come true. The first time I booted up GTA San Andreas on that computer, it was an unforgettable experience. I was over the moon, even though the game didn't run perfectly. I kept that computer for years, and eventually I upgraded the RAM to 4 GB. I didn't know anything about graphics cards or other components at that time, but it didn't matter because I was genuinely happy playing games on my crappy PC. I stuck to playing a lot of older games that the computer could handle until it eventually gave out around 2018. After that, I got a new PC that was a significant improvement over my old one. It had 8 GB of RAM, an Intel i5 3rd Gen processor, and a GTX 760 graphics card. I can't even describe how happy I was when I first booted it up and played GTA 5 for the first time. Looking back, this PC was still more on the low-end to mid-range side, but at the time, I didn't realize that. I spent a lot of time gaming on that PC. I played games like Far Cry 5, GTA 5, Watch Dogs, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, Assassin's Creed Origins, and so many others. Those were some of the happiest gaming moments for me, and I even started making benchmark videos on my channel around that time. But in 2021, my graphics card gave out, and I was left with just Intel HD 2500 onboard graphics. I was at a loss for what to play next, since I had gotten used to playing games with the highest graphics settings. That's when I began searching for low-end games on YouTube and other game platforms. Surprisingly, one game that really stood out to me was Mass Effect, not the Legendary Edition. This was the first game I played after my graphics card failed, and to my surprise, I absolutely loved it. I ended up playing it all the way through, completely engrossed in the story and gameplay. After finishing the Mass Effect series, I found myself diving into many classic games that work well on low-end PCs. I used to think that having a low-end PC would be boring, and that I wouldn't be able to play any good games, but sometimes it's actually amazing. Sure, it's a bit frustrating not being able to play the latest releases because they require high specs, but on the flip side, you're almost forced to go back and play some of the most iconic games that have shaped the gaming industry, like Half-Life 2. In the end, having a low-end PC isn't all that bad for gaming, but of course, it's always nice to have a high-end PC if you can get one. The key is not to stress about it. Appreciate what you have and know that someday, you'll get that upgrade you've been hoping for. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you soon.